It did not. Until she came in, he had been alone since his shift started at 11 p.m. Chucky Purvis, the guy with a shift before his, had reported that it had been slow all night, which was strange, really, for August. Usually August nights brought an unbroken line of customers, smart-ass kids, say, out for midnight rides and dusty pickups, buying gas and beer, shedding waves of look-at-me bravado, slapping a fake ID down on the counter like the winning card in a blackjack game. Or truckers, craving a can of Red Bull and a flap of conversation. Or sometimes, it was deputies from the Raythoon County Sheriff's Department. They had a habit of stopping in, too, at intervals throughout the night, propping a black holstered hip against the front counter and slowly unwinding the brown wrapper from a Snickers, alternating bites with observations about how anybody in their right mind would have gotten the hell out of this state a long time ago. No question about it. Once the last chunk of candy was chewed and swallowed, they would use the tip of their tongue to pry out the nut pieces from their back teeth. The Marathon was a natural gathering place. It was the only station in these parts open after 11 p.m., except for the Highway Haven up on the interstate. The Marathon was closer to Acker's Gap, the county seat. At one time, there had been a Lester oil station even closer, but it shut down last year, the front glass windows replaced by sheets of yellow plywood. The pumps in the underground tank had been hauled out, leaving open holes and a trough gorged with trash and rainwater. Husky weeds had colonized the long cracks in the asphalt. The Marathon, though, was still going strong. Danny's favorite deputy was Jake Oakes. He liked Charlie Mathers, who had retired a while back, well enough, and he didn't mind Steve Brinksnetter, Charlie's replacement. Jake, though, was the best. He was the one Danny most admired, most looked forward to seeing during a shift, or any other time for that matter, which was weird, because Danny wasn't the kind of guy who liked authority figures. That had been his whole problem back in high school, and the reason he had to drop out. He couldn't stand it when somebody tried to tell him what he could and couldn't do. In study hall one afternoon, in his junior year, he spat at Mrs. Piles, the civics teacher. She had told him to quit talking and do his work. Witnessing him being called out that way, some of the other guys laughed at him. That was not okay. And so when Mrs. Piles marched down the aisle in his direction, surely intending to repeat her reprimand, he stood up and sent a ginormous wad of spit right in her eye. It was worth everything that came after, being expelled for the rest of the year, just to see the look on the old bitch's face, the shock and the fear. By the time the school year rolled around again, he was out on his own. To hell with her. To hell with all of them. Jake, though, he respected. He never made Jake pay for his Snickers. Yet so far tonight there'd been no sign of Jake. No sign of anybody. Just this woman. Danny didn't see a car outside, which meant that wherever she had come from, she had walked. It had been a strange summer. The heat never really settled in. Throughout June and July, and the first 2 weeks of August, the weather seemed to be in a sort of trance, a holding pattern, as if it was waiting for a secret signal to let loose and intensify, prompting a moist and insistent misery. That is what usually happened. Not even the cooler air in the mountain valleys was any match for the sudden descent of the wipeout heat of August. This year, though, things were different. Temperatures remained moderate, and yet people could not quite trust the moderation. They waited nervously for that final blast, for a day when a red, pitiless sun stuck to the sky like a wet lollipop on a sidewalk. It was like expecting a call with bad news and listening always for the phone to ring. Danny looked toward the short hallway leading to the bathroom. He wondered how long he should give her. The station only had the one bathroom, and both women and men had to use it, before he fist-knocked on the door and muttered, "Hey," followed by, "You okay in there?"